Welcome everyone to the Keeping Your Business Together in a Crisis live stream webinar series. This is part 17, Alternative Funding. We're going to be talking about KIVA loans today. And we are really fortunate to have Rachel Saul from Colorado Lending Source as our presenter. And she's going to tell you all the cool things about this program. We're recording this session at 10 a.m. on Wednesday, August 19th. Everyone's on mute, so if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and my co-moderator, Jamie Brandis, will be asking questions after Rachel does her presentation. This series is produced by the Boulder Small Business Development Center to support businesses in Boulder County, as well as the rest of the state through our TechSource program. And we're one of 15 SBDCs in Colorado. So if you are calling in from another location outside of Boulder County, feel free to find the center that's closest to you by visiting coloradosbdc.org. Jamie will repeat that before we end the program. Our center is hosted by the City of Boulder, and we're part of an amazing team of local, state, and national strategic partners that can help you during these challenging times. There will be a link to this recording that we'll send out to you tomorrow, and we'll also have it up on our website, and you can see all of the, the other 16 Wednesday webinars that we've done on bouldersbdc.com. And we're going to continue to look for alternative funding opportunities for everyone. We know that these are challenging times, and with PPP and EIDL coming to the forgiveness period, we're looking for other opportunities for everyone. So at this time, I'm going to introduce our speaker, Rachel Saul. And Rachel, I'll turn it over to you. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Susie and Jamie, for inviting me. I am going to go ahead and share my screen, and can you see my screen there? Perfect.
Yep.
Great. So, yes, my name is Rachel Saul, and I work at Colorado Lending Source. Just a little bit about Colorado Lending Source. We are a CDC, a community development corporation or company. We've been around for 30 years, and in Colorado, our mission is to foster the economic growth of diverse small businesses within our communities.
Hey, Rachel?
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you. So your screen, we can see there's a pop-up with live captions and subtitles, and then we can see your webinar panel. So I just wanted to, maybe you want to expand your the PowerPoint so that there you go. And then if you do slide view.
Is this, did that fix it or no? Sorry.
You might want to minimize your GoToWebinar control panel. There you go. And then down at the bottom of your screen, your PowerPoint slide, you could do the slideshow version. But we can see it if you, if you want to continue. Sorry.
No worries. Is that better? Did that fix it, or is it still? Sorry.
No, you're totally fine.
Maybe
there you go.
This. There we go.
Yeah, you're fine.
All right. Okay.
Sorry.
Is that better?
Yeah, you can go ahead. We can just see that if you have notes in your slide, we'll be able there.
Oh, okay. I don't have any notes, luckily, but sorry.
If you do view.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Sorry, I have a Mac, so are you on a Mac or a PC?
Oh yeah, I'm on a PC. But
I think you're okay now. We can see the slide without the without having it blocked by your panel.
Okay.
Control panel. Okay.
Awesome. So yeah, I hope you can see, and I hope that's not too distracting. But basically, I joined Colorado Lending Source in February of this year to help them support small business, like startups that are interested in our programs. We work with the 504 program, which is an SBA program, and Community Advantage, another SBA program, and we also have our own loan programs, character-based lending program called the Colorado Main Street Loan Program. So I help them with that, but I also joined to help launch a KIVA hub. And so that is just an official partnership. A little bit about KIVA. KIVA is an international nonprofit that started in 2005 and with a very similar mission to Colorado Lending Source to expand financial access to help underserved communities thrive. So again, I work for Colorado Lending Source, but KIVA and Colorado Lending Source in February launched official partnership, which is called a KIVA hub. And KIVA has rolled out this hub model where they're partnering with local nonprofits all over the country so that they can better serve the community with this product, which is the KIVA loan and KIVA crowdfunding platform. So, which is what I'm here to talk to you about today. So, what is KIVA lending? What is KIVA? What are KIVA loans? KIVA loans are crowdfunded online from a global community of lenders made up of individuals, banks, and other organizations. Many individuals are lending on KIVA, but most of the lending is powered through lending funds. Like this green graphic shows, it shows the simple way that money is recycled at KIVA. Lenders can set aside money in a lending fund, lend it to a business, get repaid, and then lend it out again. So, for example, KIVA borrowers are funded by their family and friends, their personal networks, and then individuals from around the world, as well as banks and organizations and other various teams. As you can see here, this is a woman named Sherry. She has a business called Good Life Juices, and this is her KIVA campaign page or borrower profile page, where she has a photo. And on the right, you can see all the different entities that funded her campaign so that she was able to receive the business loan. So first off, I just want to say a little, some details about the loan product itself. KIVA historically offered loans from $1,000 to $10,000, but in March when COVID hit, they expanded their loan to $15,000. So today, they're offering loans up to $15,000. KIVA loans have always been 0% interest and no fees. The repayment terms range from 12 to 36 months. Borrowers pay with monthly payments. And as a response to COVID, KIVA is offering a 6-month grace period on repayments. So when you receive your loan funds, the first payment is not expected until 6 months later, although you can pay off whenever you would like. KIVA has an excellent partnership with PayPal. So PayPal actually handles all of KIVA's financial transactions, from loan dispersals to when people lend, to others' campaigns, to when a borrower is making loan repayments. It's all through PayPal. People can use KIVA loans for any business purpose except for refinancing existing business debt. And then, as you can see again, these individuals have their KIVA application is published into a public profile page that will be online eventually. So that is a crucial detail of the process, and the product itself is that the photo that you post and the information that you write on your application, it will be public and online. And we'll explain that why in a moment. Some very basic eligibility requirements for KIVA. If you would like to apply, these are the eligibility requirements. You have to be 18 years or older. You must have a PayPal account. You cannot be in an active bankruptcy. You must be willing to ask your personal network for support, as it's a crowd-funded loan, which I will explain. And it's very important to know, yeah, KIVA does not inquire or affect your legal status. There are a few types of businesses or industries that KIVA will not work with. Essentially, if it's not legal on the federal level, KIVA will not work with that business. So that includes cannabis and hemp, no adult entertainment or firearms. And KIVA does work with franchises, but certain things like Uber, Airbnb, Mary Kay, like multi-level marketing, KIVA will not work with those specific businesses. So who is a good fit for KIVA? KIVA is designed for like financially excluded entrepreneurs. So that can include many different people. It can include startups, business owners or entrepreneurs with less than perfect credit or no credit, people who have had bankruptcies in the past. These people are all welcome to apply and very good candidates for KIVA. Minority-owned and women-owned businesses, and really anyone who is willing to embrace this concept of community collateral. So there's no collateral like a typical loan of having to pledge your home or your car, but you are asked to get the support from your personal network, which again, I'll explain. So we kind of refer to that as community collateral, as you're asking your community to kind of back your loan. And since COVID hit, KIVA has really been a great option for any business looking for like emergency relief financing. So really any business owner from the startup to a sophisticated business, KIVA might be a great option as it's a 0% interest loan. And I wanted to feature a few Colorado success stories. As I mentioned, I started in March. This hub began in March, and since then, 42 businesses have been able to receive funds and qualify for funds for KIVA in the Denver, Colorado area since March. So we're very proud of that. And I featured this business owner named Betty and Norma in her profile. She was able to get a loan with KIVA. If anyone in the Boulder area knows Casa Alvarez restaurant, this was the business owner, and she has now a packaged food. So she was looking for a loan to help her launch her e-commerce sales. She was able to get that. A few other Colorado success stories. On the left was my first client, Yair, in March. He has a trucking business, so he was able to get $7,500 to buy a new piece of equipment for his trucking business. Jason has a music store in Castle Rock. And if anyone knows Copper Door Coffee, and here in Denver, Hannah was able to get a $15,000 loan with KIVA. Another entrepreneur, she has a business that takes care of children, and called Capable Kids, and she too was able to get a $2,000 loan. Hers is more of a newer business, so I just wanted to show basically in this KIVA borrowers are across all industries and all different types of businesses in terms of just starting off or very sophisticated. So it's really can be a great option for all sorts of businesses and individuals. So here's an overview of the process itself. Now we can get down to the nitty-gritty of like what is being asked here, what is the process. So overview before the nitty-gritty is an applicant will go online to apply, kiva.org/borrow. It takes roughly 1 hour to complete an application. I have back-end access to applications, so I'm here to support those who need technical assistance, and I can review your application and help you perfect it. Once the application looks good and is complete, I will send it to KIVA's review team. KIVA's review team will take about 1 business week to review and come back with an approval to fundraise. If the borrower or the applicant wishes to move forward with the approval to fundraise, they will start their crowdfunding campaign. And so the crowdfunding campaign is 2 phases, private and public. So there's a private goal and a public goal. If the borrower can meet both goals, then they qualify for the funds. They will receive the funds within a few business days directly to their PayPal account, and then start making repayments. So there is that 6-month grace period on repayments, as I mentioned, but that's the overview. So let's go through step by step. So first off, there's the application. It's online. As I said, I'm here to help you with the application. It will take about an hour. The application will ask you to upload a photo that shows you smiling and your business. You'll also want to write a little bit about your personal story, where you can share how little or much you'd like, to write a business description and talk about what you're going to do with the loan. And that is the minimum amount. So the application doesn't ask for much. That's why I say I believe people can do it in an hour or even less. If you are looking to qualify for a higher amount, like 10 or 15,000, you will have to provide a business bank statement and a proof of business registration with the Secretary of State or your EIN number. And I can help you with those things. And also I'll say that the business bank statement, KIVA's not looking about ending balances or activities so much as they just like to see that you have your personal and business finances separate. So the application is not too bad, especially I'm here to help you. So after the application is complete, I send it to KIVA's review team. KIVA's review team will do a soft credit pull, and that is mostly to ensure that you're not in an active bankruptcy, and also to verify that your credit is what you put on your application. However, I will stress that KIVA is designed for people with less than great credit or no credit at all. So that is just a very small factor in the holistic review. So KIVA will then say, okay, we've approved you to fundraise 15,000 or 10,000 or 5,000, whatever it might be. They will ask you if you want to move forward, and if you want to move forward, the crowdfunding campaign begins. So as I mentioned before, the crowdfunding campaign is broken down into 2 phases, private and public. I'd say private is maybe the harder part for the borrower. And this is where the borrower is being asked to get their personal private network, their family, friends, professional network, or whoever you feel comfortable asking, to lend their campaign $25 each. So private is about getting a specific number of people to lend your campaign $25 each. And that specific number of people is a goal that is assigned to you and set by KIVA. And it depends on your loan size and your application. So this is really KIVA's last effort of assessing your risk as a borrower. So KIVA feels that if you're serious about your business, then you should be willing and able to make that ask to, it could be anywhere from 5 to 40 individuals to lend your business $25 each. So, right, as I mentioned, the loan size determines that number as well as your application. And right, so in private, your goal is not about reaching a dollar amount, it's about getting 5, 10, 20, 30 individuals to lend your business $25. So you can see here, if you were going for $6,000, it is likely that it would be about 10 people. That would be your goal. So KIVA sets that goal. So basically, asking your friends and family to lend your business isn't too hard of an ask. Probably the toughest part is to make sure that they have a PayPal account. As I mentioned, PayPal handles all of KIVA's financial transactions, so great partnership, and that there's no way really around it. They need to have a PayPal account in order to lend to you, but it's quite easy. You just supply your friends and family with the link to your campaign. They click on it, and then they can click lend, and it's done. And all of those people will be paid back. This is a loan, it's not a donation. You're asking them to lend you $25. As you pay off the loan, they will receive the money back. So after you meet your goal in private of getting that specific number of individuals to lend your campaign $25 each, you automatically advance to the public fundraising phase. Once an applicant enters the public fundraising or public crowdfunding phase, their borrower profile page will be published on KIVA's website, public to lenders all over the world. So in private, no one could see your campaign page because it was private. People had to have a link in order to lend to you, your family and friends. On public, you're on the website, and now all of the banks that are on KIVA, all of the corporations like Google and eBay and all these other teams that have set up those lending funds, like that I showed you in the beginning with the green graphic recycling money, that they'll have access and they will help fund the rest of your loan. So in the public phase, your goal is to reach your dollar amount. So for example, in the private phase, if you were going for $10,000, you were required to get 15 individuals to lend you $25 each, raising 15 times 25, $375. You then enter the public phase with 375 out of the 10,000 raised. The public fundraising phase gives you 45 days to reach your dollar goal amount. As I said, the burden on the borrower is really mostly in the private. As in the private, it's like you prove yourself, you met that goal, and KIVA's kind of rewarded you by putting you on their website. In 2020, 100% of borrowers who met their private goal also in advance to public met their public goal and qualified for the funds. So I can't guarantee that anything, like everyone this year who met their private goal went on to meet their public goal and to qualify and receive their loan funds. So that's really exciting to see. Right now, this shows what a campaign page looks like when a borrower is in the public phase. You can see this is my client Carolina. She makes her own cookies called Charoles cookies. If you go to kiva.org/lend, and you can filter like United States, and you can see all of the different borrowers that are currently fundraising in their public phase. So you can also see under her photo, it says ×2 matching by Diller von Furstenberg Family Foundation. That's like a team that I was discussing that. So they have a lending fund and they're matching Carolina's campaign, meaning for every dollar lent at this stage, they're going to match it. So she has 26 days left and she's almost halfway there. I'm very confident that she will meet her goal, as statistically everyone else has met their goal who's gotten to public this year. So I'm sure she'll be able to get her $15,000 for her business, which is really exciting. The most important policy or thing to remember about KIVA is that KIVA is an all or nothing zero-sum game. So if you must meet the goal in private and public in order to qualify and receive your loan funds. If you do not meet both goals, you receive no funds. And if that happens, you must wait 6 months before reapplying. Also, if you were to do a campaign and for some reason you didn't meet your goal, but some people had lent to you, their money would be returned back to them. So don't worry about that. Once you meet your public goal, you've made it. You're going to receive the funds just a few days later. KIVA will send the loan proceeds directly to your PayPal account. And this chart here shows you an idea of what monthly payments would be. Makes my job easy. I don't have to calculate interest, but shows you the terms. So with a $15,000 loan, it's a 36-month term with a monthly payment of about $416. Again, you have the grace period on repayment, so your first payment is not expected until 6 months after receiving the loan. There's no prepayment penalties. You can sign up for automatic payments with PayPal. And as soon as you pay off your loan, you are eligible to reapply for another loan. So that is pretty much it. Here's a review of the process. I know I kind of sped through this, but hopefully we will have even more time for questions. But just to go over the flow one more time, you apply. I send it to KIVA review. They come back with an approval. You do your crowdfunding campaign, which starts with private, which is 15 days, and then begins public, which is actually 45 days. If you meet those goals, you then get your money. I am also here to give you resources for crowdfunding. You're not in this alone. We have a lot of resources to help you with messaging and ideas of promoting your crowdfunding campaign online. So yeah, KIVA has a lot of great resources for that, and I can help you with that too. I'm here to support you during the crowdfunding campaign as well. And yeah, that is about it. Probably went a little too fast there, but if anyone has any questions, I'm here.
Great, thank you so much, Rachel. I know we had some technical difficulties, and that's the joy of online stuff right now. So thank you for continuing through that. So anyone, if you have questions, please do put it in the chat bar, and we're happy to get to those. So looks like we have a couple coming in. So this person is wondering how they send a link to their family.
Sure. So when KIVA's review team has an approval for you, they will say, hey, Joe, you were approved for you were approved to fundraise for $15,000. Would you like to move and they'll give you your goal. They'll say your goal is 20 people. And they'll say, do you want to move forward with this? And once you give them your consent, they will send you the link. And then with that link, I'd recommend that you could, blast it out via text message or email to your family and friends. So once you're approved, KIVA tells you your specific goal, and they also provide you with that link. And then just once you meet your private goal, as I said, you automatically advance to public, and your link will actually stay the same. So just to kind of show you how it looks, but once you're on public, then you can still promote your campaign by giving people your link, but they can also find you online on KIVA's website. I hope that answered your question. So the link is given to you by KIVA.
Great, thank you. So this person is wondering, when do people who lend actually get their money back?
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I normally discuss that. So people will start to receive money directly back into their PayPal account as you pay off your loan. So most people are opting into this 6-month grace period on repayments. So, as you can, here. So when I make my first, let's say my first payment, let's say my monthly payment is $200. So I'm gonna pay PayPal my monthly payment. PayPal is gonna divvy up that $100 depending on all of the different entities that link to my campaign, and automatically and immediately send those increments back to everyone who lent to me. So if I lent to someone in their private phase, I lent my $25. When they make their first payment on their loan, I will receive a small amount back, maybe 45 cents. And then with every payment, I'll receive more and more and more, so that the last payment that you make on your loan, I will receive that full $25 back into my account. And this is nice that it incentivizes borrowers to pay off their loan till the very end, right? Because back to that idea of community collateral, where you don't want to let your family and friends down. So on the opposite token, on the other hand, if someone doesn't pay their KIVA loan back, then their family and friends will not receive that money back into their account. So they'll kind of be letting down their community in that way. But I will mention that if any KIVA borrower is in a tough situation, KIVA's payment team is very empathetic. And so we're very open to payment plans and working with borrowers. We just ask that people are communicative, and we are more than willing to work with people with what life situation they may be going through. But yes, to answer your question, those who lent to your campaign will receive money back into their PayPal account incrementally with every payment that you make. When your loan is fully paid off, you'll receive that full 25, or however much you lent, you'll receive that back in your PayPal account in full, no fees. Great.
So then there's a question, can one person pay the whole amount of my private goal?
No. So that's why it's very specific that KIVA's looking for 5, 10, 20, or 30, 40, which is rare, but that's the maximum, individuals. So that's private is all about individuals. If you have wealthy friends, just sure, tell them to lend you more if they're okay with that, because it will help you reach your goal faster. As once you get to public, you'll be closer to your dollar amount goal. But in private, it's all about, can you get a specific number of people set by KIVA, the goal? Can you get 15 people to lend you $25 each? So no, you cannot have one person lend 50 and it counts as 2 people. No, it has to be 15 people, and KIVA will check on that because this idea, that's just the model of KIVA. So yes.
Great. So if you are close to getting, let's say you have 19 people and your goal is 20, are you able to be one of those donors yourself, or do they all have to be other people?
Great question. No, you cannot lend to yourself. And people can't create multiple PayPal accounts either. That's not allowed. If you were in a situation where you had 19 out of 20, I would be there to help. I've asked my, like on Slack, my organization at Colorado Lending Source, like, hey, this borrower only needs one more person and they only have 2 days left, and we've gotten it done. So I that's why it's like I'm here to definitely help you brainstorm. If you are just at the cusp, for example, I can help you, but yeah, you have to get that number of people.
So if someone is reluctant to open a PayPal account, or it's your grandma and she just doesn't know how to do it, how does that work? Can someone, can you set it up for her, or like how can you get around that potential issue?
It's funny you say grandma, because I have had a grandma call me once. And yeah, I will say yes. If the hardest from feedback I've gotten from my clients is that maybe the biggest challenge is getting people to get a PayPal account if they don't already have one. When people have a PayPal, it's quite easy. But if you don't have a PayPal, that's like one extra step you have to do. The good news is PayPal is a very reputable company. I have had no issues with any of the 42 campaigns I've helped support of people in their networks lending. But I'm here as a resource, and I have resources like a little clip of like how to make a PayPal account, or just step by step. So I always give my clients, when they're in their campaign, I give them a little flyer, little lender flyer that they can give, and I give them all sorts of resources for crowdfunding, and it has my email and work cell on it. So if anyone is in doubt, I do understand that it's different and not everyone is comfortable with it. So I'm definitely here to walk people through it if they have an issue getting a PayPal account. But luckily, PayPal has some great resources, and we have great resources that really break down to those that are less comfortable with technology how to create a PayPal account. So I'm here to support you on that if you run into that.
Great. So when you're writing your description for your business, are there best practices for that? Are there certain, character limits, or I guess what advice would you give when writing that piece of it?
Yeah, I would say go to kiva.org/lend and click, United States, and get an idea, a feeling of what other people are putting on there. And then also when you fill out the application, the KIVA application kind of has some prompting questions that really does help you and like if you just answer the questions on the application, and these are just questions put there to help stimulate ideas of how to describe your business. So it might be like, how long has your business been operating? Like, where is it? Like, why did you open it? What kind of services or products do you offer? So I would say, yeah, like pay attention to that application and those prompting questions. And then I always, before sending it to Kiva Review, I make sure I get on the phone with a client and say, hey, could you add a little bit more detail to this part, or if there's any type of typos, I'll make sure to address that. So I'm also here to review and give you feedback if I think anything could be improved. But really, I think most borrowers do a really good job of describing what their business does, and it's good to keep their authentic voice, and it's just a few paragraphs. So I would just say, read the application. They have great questions that help you kind of guide through how to describe your business. So yeah.
So in one of your examples, it was Betty Artez, but she was known as Norma. So do you suggest that people don't use their real names, or I guess what's the best practice there?
So yeah, I think that and Betty, in Norma's case, I think that is just like her government name. So we could have changed that. It took me a bit to realize that she went by Betty. But basically your application is then published into this page. So on the application, she probably wrote her legal name, and that's why it was published here. But for example, if you wanted a different name than like to be on your profile page, we can totally change that. And we don't have the last name here to just for like privacy confidentiality reasons for the borrower, but it will have the name of your business and whatever information you've provided. So yeah, in her case, I think that's just like her legal name, and I didn't catch that. Most people know her by Betty, but we definitely can change that. I hope that answered your question. And just so in case anyone was curious, how it says paying back 0% repaid, that's because all of my clients have opted into the 6-month grace period on repayments. So no one has actually made their first payment yet because this hub is so new. Because all of these loans were, like my very first loan was funded in March. So the first payment won't be until October or November. So that's why it says 0% repaid, because they haven't started making their payments yet, just in case anyone's curious.
Great. So if someone has received something like a PPP loan or any other grants, does that affect their eligibility to participate in this program?
That's a great question, and thank you so much for asking that. No, there is no interference between an SBA loan and KIVA. The executive director at Colorado Lending Source is he's been working with the SBA for his whole career. I've seen the legal documents, and because I've had people concerned about this, and no, it is completely allowed to get a KIVA loan and an SBA loan at the same time. I know there are some issues with getting 2 different SBA loans and using it for the same purpose, and I think that wording, that language, and has confused some people, but it is totally acceptable and legal to use a KIVA loan for your business as well as an SBA loan.
Great. So another question is, can 501c6 organizations apply?
Yes, definitely. We've had a lot of nonprofits apply. I don't know if I'm not sure if Capable Kids could be a nonprofit. I'm trying to think of a specific one, but yes, 100%. I know I have a couple of nonprofits in my portfolio here in the Denver area, but nonprofits are more than welcome to apply. In fact, I would say it's a great fit because KIVA really loves businesses that have a positive social impact, and a lot of nonprofits do. So they tend to like fund quicker on the public site if you kind of have an interesting story, or if you're giving back to your community. People are likely drawn to what you're doing and want to support you. So yes, nonprofits are great with KIVA.
Okay, great. And there is a differentiation between 501c3s and 501c6s. So does that have any impact on it, or is it either can apply?
No, both. Yeah, both are welcome. That's totally fine.
Okay.
There's no like business registration that cannot work with KIVA. You could be 501c3, 6, corporation, LLC, sole prop. It's that's fine.
Great. Can you talk a little bit more about the best ways to market what you're doing? I think you mentioned social media. If you don't already have accounts on social media, does it make sense to start something? I guess what are best practices for getting the word out?
Sure. Honestly, what I think is the best way to go about it is when I send your application to KIVA review, I will be able to tell you, like, with 99% certainty what your private crowdfunding goal is going to be. So I'll say to you, like, Joe, it looks like if you get approved for the full 15, your private goal is going to be 20 individuals. What I would recommend you doing is making a list of 25, just to be safe, some cushion, people that you feel most comfortable asking for support, right? Like, make a physical list, old school, write down those 25 people over the weekend, you know, call one by one and explain to them, hey, most likely next week I'm going to start this crowdfunding campaign. Could you lend me 25 bucks via PayPal? As I pay off the loan, you will be paid back. You're really supporting my business. If I can get these 15 people, I'll most likely be able to get the full 15,000. You know, this is a great opportunity, and just that is what I would say to start. Regardless of if you're amazing at social media, I still think that's the best practice of how to tackle your private network, because I really do think people respond better to that, like, phone call. And then when it starts, I love the idea of sending a mass text. There's a way to text on the iPhone where you send a mass text, but it doesn't show up as a mass text. It's like kind of like a BCC with text messaging, and that's when you can say, like, hey, remember when we talked about this last week? Like, it's live. Here's the link. I've got 15 days to reach my goal. And I think most people find success doing it that way. And then with social media, there is a KIVA, there's a we have a page, and you could probably Google, like, KIVA crowdfunding resources, and we have a page dedicated to, like, Facebook, Instagram, and then just ideas, just some messaging, some language, and just ideas. And I think, and like, when you advance to public, where the burden is less on your shoulders, but you should still be promoting your campaign so you can meet your dollar goal quicker. That's where I recommend, like, asking your friends on social media to share your link with their friends so that you can really expand the pot. So you can be creative too with the way you crowdfund. So I've had people, like, offer others, like, hey, if you can lend to my campaign, I can give you 10% off of your next purchase at my store. Or, you're more than welcome to be creative. The one thing KIVA doesn't want you to do is to be running another crowdfunding campaign simultaneously. And the reason for that is because they've seen that you're less likely to be successful with either one. So that's the reason why they don't want you to do that, because they want you to be successful. So yeah, I would say with social media, I would share those resources with you, but I really think the best practice is kind of that old school, going down the list and really focusing on those 20 people. And then after that, I'd say you could experiment with social media things after you've met your private goal. Yeah. Or in private as well. I just like the idea of kind of knowing your list of 20 to 25 and really kind of having more direct contact with those individuals to make sure that they show up and support.
Great. So if there are multiple owners of a business, do you suggest that all of them are listed? Does it ever make sense to just list one person? For example, if it's partially women owned, do those get funded more? I guess, what do you think are the best practices around that?
I would say, so at this moment, you cannot put a co-borrower on a KIVA application. It actually has to be just one applicant. And so I would say put the majority owner. If it's 50-50, it could be either applicant. Yeah, and I would say really who it's hard for me to try and kind of tell you which person. I think it'd be a case-by-case situation, and if you were in that situation, call me or email me. Here's my information, just so in case, I'm sure you'll share it later, but, and I can kind of give you a, advice on that, but it's basically the business owner that is most willing, that wants to be the face of the campaign. But there might be some lending funds that are more set up to support women. But yeah, we could talk one-on-one about that situation, but it can only be one person, and it does have to be, they do have to be an owner.
Great. So I think this might be one of the final answers or questions. Let's see, are there limits to what we can do with the loan? I'm thinking about pivoting to wholesale, so do I need to apply with that, even though I'm not sure about that part yet?
Okay, great question. As long as the loan is going to your business and not to refinancing existing business debt or like buying stocks, which I don't even mention most times, but then it is allowed, it's kosher. KIVA will not ask you for receipts. So while I encourage you to keep track of your business expenses and how they incur, just so that you are being a good business owner and keeping tracks, but it's not, KIVA won't ask you for that. They're trusting you that this is going to your business. So on the application, you are asked to indicate what you will use your loan towards. But you are, if for some reason, like things change with COVID, things are changing every day. So if you decide once you get your loan, like, oh, actually, I'd rather, put this towards marketing instead of wholesale or whatever, as long as it's going to your business and not to refinance debt, then it is totally okay and supported.
Great. So this person says, microloans generally have very high repayment rates. Given the pandemic and the 6-month grace period and the hardships of the pandemic, such data won't yet be available. Overall, though, what has KIVA's repayment percentage been?
So internationally, it's 97%. In the US, I don't have that repayment rate for you at the moment. It might be somewhere in the 80%, but if you could give me your email, I can check with my team and get you that actual repayment rate. But essentially, when it comes to repayments, like I keep bringing up this concept of community collateral because I think it's so cool. Those who lend to you, they will be able, like your lenders, they might they're checking their lending profile because they're like, oh, let me see how all those entrepreneurs I supported are doing. And so if someone isn't repaying on their loan, that will be like public that you're behind on payments. And so your lenders and, that's that kind of that community accountability that you'll be letting those people down. But I can ask my my team and get back to you on the repayment rate. I'm sorry, I don't have the exact number for you. I believe it's in the 80%. And so yeah, I'm sorry I don't have that, but I can let you know the specifics when I get it.
Sounds great. So I think that's all the questions that we have. So thank you so much, Rachel, for doing this today. I think it's been really helpful. I know people are really looking for other sources of funding right now. If people are interested, Rachel is a great resource, Colorado lending source, KIVA. So we love our partnership with you guys. So thanks so much. So like Susie said earlier, we do have 15 SBDCs across the state of Colorado. If you just go to coloradosbdc.org, you can find your local center. I know we have people dialing in from all over the state, so we can all help with consulting and other resources. We will send out a follow-up email today with Rachel's slides, as well as her contact information and other resources that you can get from KIVA. Susie, do you have any other closing thoughts here?
No, I thought it was great. Really enjoyed the Q&A. portion of this. And Rachel, you're awesome. Thank you so much. You can just tell how excited you are about this program. And I think that it really does offer something unique for people, particularly, those with credit issues. We always have people, coming to us that are, just trying to get going. And sometimes that bridge money is exactly what people need. So thanks for your energy and for presenting today. And of course, thanks, Jamie, for being my buddy, my partner in crime. And
No problem.
we'll end a little early.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you everyone for coming, and please reach out if you have any questions. I'm happy to help. Thanks, Susie and Jamie.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.